So this is a meme on a woman's website or a woman's Facebook group that identifies what the stages of genocide are. And they relate it to what's happening at the border, with people who are non-citizens of the United States who come here voluntarily knowing that they're breaking the law, knowing that they're going to be detained, and knowing that they're going to be sent back. This is nothing like what happened in Germany or in Russia or in Vietnam or Cambodia or any of the other, dictatorships in socialist countries where they've rounded up people and killed them. This is much different than what you would think of as genocide, these stages. What it more relates to, more accurately, is abortion. And so let's just go through these and see how this relates to abortion rather than what they're trying to make it look like at the border. Stage one, people are divided into us versus them. So the living versus the non-living, as they want to create this idea. The people who are born are living. The people who are not born yet are not living, even though they have a heartbeat, they have a brain, they have a nervous system. They feel, they respond to their mother. Even as young as 6 weeks, they have a heartbeat. As little as 22 weeks, they can live outside the mother. This has happened. The preemie that was born recently was born healthy and needed some life support. Seriously, any baby does, even if they're 9 months old, of course. They're going to need some life support. But he made it. And I'm sorry, it was a girl, actually. I can't remember the state that it was in. But it was here in the United States, and the baby lived, born at 22 weeks and 5 days.
Reality is reality. It's not body autonomy if it's a 9-month-old baby.
Because a fetus is literally a parasite. Like, it is sucking the life from a mother.
Yeah.
Every single day. Like, that's literally what happens. That's not even like...
Not a mother, I'm guessing.
Like,
Whoa. Are you?
Sure.
I don't...
Yeah, no.
I'm not the one referring to a baby as a parasite. That seems pretty harsh.
So despite that they are alive, despite that they're human life, despite that they are a separate life, despite that they have their own DNA signature, separate from their mothers, separate from their fathers, but it's uniquely theirs. And despite that they can even live outside the mother at a very early age of 22 weeks, and they have a heartbeat at 6 weeks, they've divided them into, these are the important humans, these are the strong humans, these are the ones that deserve life, which are those that are born. And these are the ones that, as they call them, a clump of cells, and some of them will call them the baby's parasites. So they've waged this rationalization in the ether that people who are born are alive, people who are not born are not alive. Us versus them. Symbolization. People are forced to identify themselves. So even though a baby can't speak for itself in the womb, it can't even, be heard. Still very much alive, still very much human. Can't speak for itself, can't fight for itself. But they're making this case where the baby has to identify itself as living. And the only way it can do that is if it's born. So they use this whole identification thing like, well, if the baby can't even stand up for itself, then it's going to have to die. Or whatever. Discrimination. People begin to face systematic discrimination. So that's what abortion is. Is the baby going to inconvenience my life or not? Do I want this baby or not? It can be discriminated against as an inconvenience, which is 95% of abortions. Dehumanization. People equated with animals, vermin, or diseases. Now, I'll put up some pictures here where at these women's marches and these pro-Planned Parenthood marches where they say that a baby is a parasite. A baby is a clump of cells. An unborn baby is a parasite. An unborn baby is a clump of cells. So instead of it being human, instead of it being recognized as human, which it in every way is, it'll never be anything else. It'll never be a rock. It'll never be a tree. It'll never be a dog, a cat, a lizard. It'll only be human. It only is human. It's just in one of the various stages of human development. That's the first stage. Second stage would be toddler or baby, infant, then toddler, then, preteen, teen, young adult, middle-aged adult, old adult. It's just one of the stages of life, of human life. But they want to say that it's a parasite or it's a clump of cells. Organization. The government creates specific groups, police, military, to enforce policies. Well, there you go. I mean, the government, at least via the Supreme Court, nobody voted on this, of course. The Supreme Court made laws, which it was never intended to do, to create a legal avenue for the government to protect abortion. Not only does it protect abortion, but we've systematically created a fund to give to groups that perform abortions. Over $540 million a year alone goes to Planned Parenthood. They say, well, we don't use it for abortion. We only use it for other services. But they share the same buildings as the people who give the other services. The abortion doctors are in those same buildings. They have the same computers, the same staff, the same electricity bill, the same telephone bill, the same, paper and office supplies. I mean, they share everything. They're in the same office. They're in the same group. They belong to the same company. They're employed by the same people. So our $540 million a year that's forced into Planned Parenthood against our will, I don't agree to my taxes going there, but my taxes go there anyway, are paying for the facilities that facilitate the abortion doctors. So yeah, the government is involved. Polarization. The government broadcasts propaganda to turn the populace against the group. Well, this is absolutely true. Look at liberal lefties in Congress. I shouldn't call them liberal. I'll call them lefties or progressives. In Congress, putting out all this propaganda. They agree with afterbirth abortions. Like, for example, Governor Northam of Virginia.
Ben Sasse blasts Governor Ralph Northam of Virginia for supporting a bill in his state that would have allowed abortion up until and during birth.
We're talking about a little baby girl who's been born and is on a table in a hospital or a medical facility, and then a decision or a debate would be had about whether or not you could kill that little baby.
Here's what Virginia's governor did say.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
Abortion. I think all of the lefties are for late-term abortion now, which is a radical change compared to 20 years ago. I mean, 20 years ago, even Hillary Clinton was against abortion. Now she's all about it. But they, through their campaigns and through their congressional speeches, create all kinds of propaganda to push this genocide of killing all these babies. 1.3 million babies a year get killed via legal means through the abortion laws that we have now. Over 40 million a year worldwide get killed. This is the most, massive genocide that this world has ever seen. These are human lives being exterminated, and in many cases legally. Let's see. Preparation, official action to remove or relocate people. You are here. Yeah, we are.
My name is Dr. Anthony Levatino. I'm a practicing obstetrician-gynecologist, and I've performed over 1,200 abortions. Today I'm going to describe a second trimester surgical abortion called dilatation and evacuation, or D&E. A D&E is performed between 13 and 24 weeks of pregnancy. After administering anesthesia, the abortionist uses a weighted speculum, like this one, that opens the vagina widely. Because second trimester babies are so large, this greater access facilitates a late-term abortion. Late-term abortion requires that the cervix be prepared 24 to 48 hours in advance with laminaria. Laminaria is a type of sterilized seaweed that absorbs water over 8 to 12 hours and swells to several times its original diameter. Once removed, metal dilators can be used to further open the cervix as needed. Once the cervix has been stretched open, the suction tube is placed inside. A baby at 20 weeks gestation is as big as the length of my hand, from head to rump, not counting the legs. The suction machine is turned on, and pale yellow amniotic fluid surrounding the baby is suctioned out through the catheters. With babies this big, they don't fit through catheters this size. The baby's bones and skull are too strong to be torn apart by suction alone. This is a Sofer clamp. A Sofer clamp is made of stainless steel. It's about 13 inches long. The business end is about 2.5 inches long and a half-inch wide, and there are rows of sharp teeth. This is a grasping instrument. When it gets a hold of something, it does not let go. The abortionist uses this clamp to grasp an arm or leg. Once he has a firm grip, the abortionist pulls hard in order to tear the limb from the baby's body. One by one, the rest of the limbs are removed, along with the intestines, the spine, and the heart and lungs. Usually the most difficult part of the procedure is extracting the baby's head, which is about the size of a large plum at 20 weeks. The head is grasped and crushed. The abortionist knows he has crushed the skull when a white substance comes out of the cervix. This was the baby's brains. The abortionist then removes skull pieces. He removes the placenta and any leftover parts of the baby with a curette, scraping the lining of the uterus for any remaining tissue. The abortionist then collects the baby parts and reassembles them to make sure that there are 2 arms, 2 legs, and all the pieces. Once all the parts have been accounted for, the abortion is complete. For the woman, this procedure carries a significant risk of major complications, including perforation or laceration of the uterus or cervix, with possible damage to the bowel, bladder, and other maternal organs. Infection and hemorrhage can also occur, which can even lead to death.
We are here. They're removing and relocating babies, at least their carcasses, their bodies, their dead bodies. Yeah, sure, they're removing them and relocating them, putting them in the garbage, you know. Literally, I mean, yeah, they just toss them. They don't even give them a funeral or anything. They just toss them. Persecution, beginning of murders, theft of property, trial massacres. Yep. Yeah, I mean, your life is your property. Your body is your property. If there's any kind of property that you have via natural law, via, God-given law, that you're born with immediately, that you have as an inalienable right is your body. And yeah, so the beginning of murders, that's the abortion, theft of property, theft of your body, trial massacres. Well, now they're putting this on trial for afterbirth abortions and late-term abortions. So yeah, definitely. Extermination, wholesale alienation of the group. It is not extermination and not murder because the people are not considered human. Oh, wait, that goes back to the earlier points I made where these people, and I'll show you some video clips and pictures of these women's marches and groups and protests saying that these are just parasites and they're just clumps of cells. Even at late terms, even at the 3rd trimester. Wow. Yeah. Number 10, the government denies that it has committed any crime. Well, yeah, they do. These Congress people, these lefties, these progressives, they say, no, it's a woman's right. It's her body, her choice. There's no crime committed here, even though they're killing a human life, even though they're exterminating humans in massive amounts by the millions, far more than anybody that, combined that was killed in World War II. There was over 100 million people killed in World War II. In just 3 years' time, this world kills over 120 million babies via legal means. That war in World War II went on for like 9 years. In 9 years, what is 9 times 4? 36? 36 million, or 360 million people killed via abortion in the time that 100 million people were killed in World War II via abortion. That's just crazy. This is genocide on the biggest scale you could ever imagine. Absolute genocide. And for them to say it's anything different is just a way for them to excuse their really shitty behavior.